So hello everybody, today I am back with another Python tutorial. Today we are going to talk about classes and how to make your own types. So in the past videos I have told you that types are things that simplify making things, but I still haven't told you how to make your own type. So let's just get to the coding. So basically we use classes for this. First I'm going to show you static classes. Classes, when first designed, were used to just organize functions. So if I put a function here, class is also a block of code and you put the class name here. So I'm going to put a function here, and as you can see it added self, but we don't actually need that because this is a static class. And PyCharm will continue saying that it's error, so I'm gonna add this. But if you are using something like Visual Studio, you wouldn't need to, because it won't say that there's an error. So basically in the function I can print something. So now the function isn't accessible like this. As you can see, nothing shows up. But if we use person dot greet, then it will work. And this is basically organizing functions into some class. Why is it what the fuck? Okay, I'll have to always do this. So look, it prints hello. You can also make classes inside of classes, but we're not going to that. This is still also called nesting. Now let's and you can make a lot of functions, like infinite functions if you like to. So let's actually get to making a type. So basically a type has three key things. One is the fields. Fields are basically variables that are in a class and can only be accessed when you make a variable out of that class. Like for example, and this is actually the same with functions, because functions that are attached to the class using the self argument I'm gonna show you how to do that, just don't get too stressed. So the functions that are attached to the class are only accessible when a variable is made of that class. Like for example, in the past videos I have made a lot of string variables. So if I make a string variable, I can access the functions in it, like all of these easy functions. But if I don't make a string variable and try to directly access the string class, then I can still access them. That's because PyCharm's auto completion is not that good. But in reality, if you run this code, it will say that you need to initialize it first, then you can call the functions, fields and functions. And the second is the constructor. The constructor is basically a function that is called when you initialize the thing. Now we haven't called a constructor, but it is getting called. Even though you can just do this, you can also use string and call string as a function to do this. And this is basically the constructor. The constructor takes some arguments and sets the fields and functions and stuff to those arguments, like initializes the class. And third is obviously the functions. And there are also additional things like subclasses and stuff like that. So let's get to it. We'll make a class called person and add a constructor. In Python, a constructor is made by using the magic function. Magic functions are functions that those names are in between these things, in between underscores. So we're gonna take two arguments. One is the name, second is the age. And now to make a variable, a field of that class, in other languages we would actually define them somewhere here before making any functions. But in Python you just do self dot whatever the variable name is, then just do that. And accessing these is also the same. In Python you just do self dot the variable name to access them. And you can actually initialize more global variables in like other functions of the class, but it is not recommended as just because they are like made in the function, so some functions might not be able to access them. So let's now make a function. Actually I forgot to add the age variable. So let's now make a function called greet. Now last time I didn't add the self argument, but this time we need to add the self argument so we can actually access the names and ages. So we're gonna print hello, my name is self.name. I am self.age years old. And if we don't add the self argument, first of all, then it will be just accessible without initializing. Second of all, we will want to be able to access these. So let's actually try using it. We'll make a person called person1. Why am I saying person? It's person. So person, we're gonna add the name Jake and the age 19. So we can like create it now, and let's run it, and as you can see it is perfectly fine. Now in Python there is actually a bit of a problem, because in other languages you can like make the functions private or public. Public functions are accessible from anywhere. I mean, like they are self-explanatory. They make functions accessible from anywhere or accessible from only the class. But in Python this is not possible. Yeah, for some reason it's not. So I can actually just kind of change the name myself without needing a function. This is good, but it's not that good when you want to like make a variable that should be private. And there's a workaround for this, which is like adding an underscore to it. Now we can still access the variable, I mean the field, but PyCharm won't show it, because like it is just like the official, I mean unofficial official private operator. I'm actually gonna rename this. If you are using the Python extension in VS Code, you can use the F2 key, but in PyCharm I think we have to use refactor. Yeah, we have to refactor. Rename. I'm gonna rename this to this. Now it's only accessible from anywhere. It is still accessible from anywhere, but PyCharm won't show it now. Look, it is nowhere to be seen. It's just age. Now I can still modify it as I said, but PyCharm will give me a warning. Wait, why didn't it? For some reason PyCharm isn't giving me a warning. But yeah, that is the unofficial official operator to make things private. Same goes for functions. And please wait, why am I saying play? You can also like make more magic functions. So like you can make magic functions to fix things. Like for example, right now if I set person1 and to like person1 string, then it will actually like probably shoot an error or something, because obviously we cannot convert a class to a person. Let's see what it does. It is nothing. And if I print it, it's probably the class address or something, which is like assembly level shit. But we can actually fix this by using custom like magic methods. Like we can do define string. So this is called whenever it is converted to a string. So basically instead of returning the class, we'll give the string function the name of the person. actually the age. So it converts the age from an integer to like a string. So now we can print it. And what did I do? Stop and here. Okay, I fuck. So it's a type error. Here return non-string type. I forgot a little, but actually we are supposed to return what we have to return. Like we have to convert it, so it gives it a string. So this time it will print 19. This can apply to actual custom types. Like actually let me make a new like class. We'll call it number, and it's basically a copy of integer. We're gonna make a init function, and let's take a number. Set this to the number. And also whenever you print something, the string function is called. So that means if you like do this, then I can like return the number, so I can just print it normally. We actually have to convert it to a string first. And now let's remove this and replace it with number. Now it doesn't look purple, but I think it should work, because I vividly remember that it worked somewhere. Return number self.age. Now we're gonna print number and person. We're just gonna like inline the whole thing. I'm gonna name the person hello for some reason. So this should work, and it doesn't. I do remember. Okay then, but there is one thing that I'm going to tell you. I mean, actually no, it's not one thing, it's a lot of things. First of all, I've already told you that if you want to make it so another value is printed when you like print the class, then you can just use the string function. You can also do boolean to like return another value when it's converted to a bool. Same goes for integer, float, and you can also like customize what happens when you use operators with this. Like I can, where is the plus operator? What? Oh yeah, add. So basically, if we are trying to like merge two persons together using the plus operator, then it will obviously result in an error. But we can use the add magic function to make it valid. Basically, we're gonna make a new person. Oh bro, I have a C++ habit, that's why I'm doing this. So we're gonna make a new person with the name of this person, and we're gonna merge them using a space. But why am I doing this? I can just use the F string like this. We're gonna use this person's name along with the other person's name. My keyboard is glitching out so bad. Along with the other person's name. And I forgot the age. So for the age, I guess we are just gonna add the ages together, which will make 220s be a 40-year-old person. And then we are gonna return the person. So let's make a person now. I am still bro, what the? We'll call it P1. Jake. 15. P2. Person. Miller. 17. P3 will be P1 plus P2. And let's print p3 dot greet. Actually we don't have to print it. Then let's do this. Hello, my name is Jake Miller. I'm 32 years old. Look, it's working. Now, before going to another concept, I'm going to tell you some more magic functions. So I'm first going to tell you operator ones. Mule is for multiply, and sub is for subtraction, div is for division, and there's also a repr one that I don't really use, but it's basically to represent the class I mean, but it's actually kind of pointless. It's called repr. I mean, unless you are making a whole new programming language is Python, which you shouldn't do, it's actually pointless. There's also more functions like del. Actually, del and delete are just like pointless, because I don't know how to explain this, because my English isn't good. So because if you like make a custom one, then if you call delete somewhere with the variable, it will be called, that's good. But because every freaking variable is deleted at the end of the program, if you have a lot of multiple definitions for delete, then you will probably just see deleted variable 7, deleted variable 8, deleted variable that, deleted variable that, and a lot more. That actually slows down the program too. There's also del item, and I think this is for like dictionaries. Oh yeah, I'm gonna also show you dictionaries today. Item actually. Get attribute, because Python is done a lot of type, bro. I don't remember what are the types of these things, but I do know that this is for like getting an item out of lists, and you can also do it, and you can also make a custom method for it in classes. So if you call it with like brackets and stuff like that, then this will be called. Now let's get to dictionaries. First of all, dictionaries are just lists, like 2D lists. Now if you don't know what 2D arrays are, I'm gonna show you. Basically, we're gonna make array 2D. We can't add a number at the start of a variable name. So for example, this is a list, and a dictionary basically contains a key that has a value. So I'm sure probably most of you probably get what I mean. Basically, there's a list that contains lists of 2 items. First is the key, second is the value. Now in Python we don't use brackets that much, like curly brackets like this one, that much. So because of that, in Python you can just use this to add the value. But because in other programming languages we use like billions of curly brackets, we don't do that in other programming languages. I mean the syntax to add or set a key is still the same, but we can't just like do this. So let me show you how to actually make a dictionary. So we're gonna make a dictionary of like people, and let's add a key Jack19. Now as I said, we can just use this, and I don't know how Python even handles this, because Python is made to just think that every freaking colon except for the one in print statements is like a block. So I don't know how it handles them, but you can actually put any value here. Like I can make a reverse one, but that just looks unconventional. I can also make subarrays, and this is actually kind of a JSON. JSON is like just a markup language that you use to add key value. Yeah, it's basically a Python dictionary, that's all. It is basically a Python dictionary. So like if I'm gonna add 2 here, and to iterate over them, we don't do it like normal arrays. We don't just do this and stuff like that. We actually make key value just like we did with the enumerate. We first added the I and then a col and then a comma, then the value. We do the same, and in not people but people dot items. Basically this returns the array that's containing arrays. I think that's what it does, but we'll just continue. So basically we're gonna do key is at the party and is value years old. So let's run this. Jack is at the party and is 19 years old, and the same for Jake. And that's dictionaries. I'm gonna show you how to add things and stuff. So let's do it. Why isn't it selecting? What is that? So to add things, if you are a C++ developer, you would probably use this, and yeah, that is fine. You can just add like Miller or something like that. I'm gonna add this like that, 14. And the reason it's showing so many warnings is because it's telling me, because I am just adding it right after I initialize the dictionary. So PyCharm is telling me to just add it in the dictionary right as I make it, instead of adding it separately, but I don't want that. And dictionaries can't have like duplicates. Dictionaries cannot have duplicates because you access key values by just this, and that means that if I try to make another Jake into the dictionary and set it to like 13, the actual Jake will be set to 13 instead of a new one added. And because of that, we can actually use dictionaries to remove all duplicates from a list. And there's actually another way of doing that, but I'm just gonna show you the simpler way. So basically, dictionaries have some functions to get specific things. Like from people, I can get all the keys, which are basically the names of the people in it. So keys, we can do keys like that. We can also get all the values, and because like dictionaries don't have duplicates, we can convert a list to a dictionary, then convert all the keys of that dictionary back into a list to like sort that list out. So we're gonna make a function to do that. We're gonna call it remove duplicates. By now I assume you probably understood what functions are and stuff, so I'm just gonna go over it. So we're gonna take a list. We're gonna call it LST because we don't want conflicts with the actual type, and then we're just gonna take a list. That's it. So first of all, dictionary is equal to dict list, and I think this won't work. So just to make sure it works, we are actually gonna make a empty dictionary. Actually, let's just see if it works. And yeah, you can convert things just like normal to dictionaries with the function. And in theory, this should make a dictionary that only has the list items, and no values. Actually, from keys so we're gonna set none. So all the values should now be set to none, but all the keys should be set to all the items of the list. But it is still a dictionary. So we have to convert it to a list, back into a list actually. So no duplicate list is equal to list. We're gonna convert dictionary to list, and actually not the whole dictionary. As I said, we can use keys to get all the keys, and then just return the no duplicate list. So we'll have a list, the first list. We're gonna do 1 4 2 2 2 8 8. Now sorted list, we're just gonna call it sorted list to make it. I thought there was smoke coming out of my laptop. So we're gonna call it sorted list and remove duplicates of the list. Now print the list. I'm just gonna print it like that, and as you can see, there are no duplicates left. And how long is the video? Oh, it's too long. So I'm just gonna give you a little hint to what I'm going to be teaching next, and that is modules. Modules are basically files or Python files that you can like import into your file to use functions, classes, variables, and like everything from them without needing to copy and paste all of that into your file. And that's basically it. Goodbye.